What up? What up? It's your boy Smitty on the weekends.
The co-host, Johnny Kappa. Peace.
Welcome to the Mirror Review. As always, like I said, today's topic is about pride. First, I want to give the basic definition of what pride is. The feeling or the pleasure of satisfaction derived from self-achievement or possessions. Pride can be negative. Pride can be positive. How do you feel about it? And also, again, I want to just remind everybody, this is an opinionated podcast. I will be bringing up different facts that I looked up and different topics where it's been researched on one or the other and how people actually describe it and their meaning of it. But again, we're going to go on our opinions and what we think about pride and how has it affected us.
Yeah, and there are many different opinions on pride. You know, like being prideful could be negative. Being prideful could be positive. We all know this.
Right.
You know.
So I'll give a brief example of what I think pride is. So obviously, like the reason why they say it's a negative thing is people say that your pride is hurt, which also means that your dignity or your self-respect is hurt in a way. So people do have that type of pride. It's like, nah, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go in that situation because my pride is better than that. I'm better than that. And them having that word miscomplacement in a way can give them outside options or outlets that weren't actually positive because their pride was in the way. Because technically, like even if it's on the term of, let's go down dignity. So if I'm a prideful person and I'm not going to let certain things get to me, and my definition, like, all right, well, nah, I don't need nobody else. I don't need nobody's help. I'm going to do it on my own. I'm going to go through my own struggles. And I'm going to not let anybody know what I'm going through. So by doing that, it's like I'm being a prideful person. So even when I'm going through a lot of issues, guess what? I'm not going to bring them up. I'm not going to talk about them. And I'm actually going to boast a little bit more about what I am doing for self-gratification or show people the positive on what I'm doing instead of the negative. So in that way, to me, pride can be a great thing. Because now it's like, all right, well, let me find something that I do like doing. Let me find something that's going to be great for me. Let me find something that nobody else is doing. And I find a lot of pride in doing that.
So like in the social aspect, it's almost like a resume when you're looking for a job. You're going to put a lot of your good attributes to the front. You know what I mean? Like a resume. Like I'm good at this, I'm good at that. I'm a great people person and stuff like that. So your pride is going to put a lot of your accomplishments right up front, but your negatives you're going to put to the back,
right?
Because of the pride,
right? Like for instance, what's her name? Stacy, what was it? Jessica Stacy. Actually, she's a psychologist. She actually came out with a book, and it was called "Put Pride First" or "Hate Pride," and what's the difference of the both? So. Take Pride. That was the name of it. Take Pride. So in her definition of pride, it used a positive light where in an organization, you could be proud of the work you're doing for the organization and the organization could build, or you could be prideful on your work and your accomplishments in your company, and everybody that you hire looks up to your achievements as a better thing that you did. So they want to look up to you. They want to be like that. They want to achieve what you achieved. So you could take a lot of pride in that. And that's just a positive aspect of pride. Again, too much pride is also another issue. But I think when they're going into pride, you're also going to bring up the word hubris. So is it you being prideful or you being hubris? Because hubris is obviously too much pride.
Yeah. Are you being like a little full of yourself?
Right.
Or are you just like highlighting your good attributes? You know what I mean? And that's where pride could get in the way. It's like, all right, I'm not acknowledging the negative things about me. I'm just going to highlight all the good things about me. And that's all you're going to know about me because I'm prideful, you know?
Right. And with that, then obviously I'm going to hide the other stuff about me and just basically put a halo on my head or pat myself on the back too much.
It's like an athlete's highlight reel. You see all the good things. You don't see how many shots that basketball player makes. You just see all the shots that they made. It's a highlight reel, you know, of your life. That's what pride is. It's a highlight reel.
Right. But can too much pride also go to your head, though? Because there's a lot of times
That's
like,
what I'm saying.
I know for a fact where
it's like that highlight reel is gonna boast you up a lot and be like, man, I don't miss no shots. You see my, you see that. I don't know. Everything I put up goes in.
right. Yeah, exactly.
But is it really like that?
Exactly. And then you getting your horn tooted so much when people see the real facts of the practice, the tribes, the tribulations of what you took to get there, you're not going to ever admit that. So you're doing so good, you automatically think that you're doing something right. Where I had somebody tell me before, it's like, oh, I know what I'm doing. I've been doing this for 10 years. It's like, have you been doing the same thing, which I brought up before? Have you been doing the same thing right for 10 years? Because you became so complacent on what you're doing and you let your pride get in the way to the fact where you don't need nobody else's advice. If I needed somebody else's advice, guess what? I wouldn't be where I'm at. I wouldn't be who I am.
Yeah.
But yet
Yep.
you can open up to making yourself even better if you do put your pride to the side sometimes. Where, all right,
Yeah,
well, I didn't
absolutely.
even know I can learn this. I didn't even know I can do this.
Because that's what it comes, especially like being in a trade for so long. You feel like, oh, I know everything about it. I've been here for 20, 25 years. There's nothing that this young kid could teach me. But maybe he has a different perspective, or he grew up in a different era and can teach you something different about something that you've been doing for a long time. Like, look at, this is the way we do it now. You know what I mean? Saves us some time, saves us some resources. But you still want to do it the old school way because you're so stuck in your pride. You're so stuck in those habits. You know what I mean? And you keep wanting to boast yourself up, so you're going to keep doing it those ways instead of doing it the more efficient way.
Right, like technology for one. There's a lot of people that are older that do take the time out to learn technology, but there's a lot of people that's like, nah, I can do it in my head, or I can do it by hand. I don't need your computer to do the algorithm or the statistics on what should be done and should not how be done, because this way has been working forever. But yeah, this way might be more beneficial to the company or even to you and get it done, a lot quicker or a lot more efficient or a lot less money than what you were spending before. But yet your pride got in the way. So now you automatically think, you know what? Nah, I'm all set. This way it's been working. I've been set. And a lot of businesses, even with COVID, which I don't like bringing up COVID, a lot of them failed because of that. Because they didn't want to move with the times. They didn't want to roll with the punches. So they had to shut down. Like working from home, for instance.
And it comes into like a cliche where they say, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Like, oh, this is still working for me, so why am I going to fix it?
Yep.
It's like because you could save yourself a lot of time and a lot of money, and a lot of effort. That's why you do. You have to humble yourself a little bit to take heed to someone else's word who maybe has not been there as long as you, but they know the new ways of doing things.
Yeah, and we all know how I feel about the word humble. Like the original definition of the word humble was basically a jack working for the king and bowing down to a king gracefully. Like, oh, I'm humble to my king, or I'm humble to my God. Where people nowadays, somebody does something great, instead of like, congratulations, they're like, oh, I'm humble to this person. You're not humble for that person. You can respect what he's doing. You can have appreciation for what he's doing, but yet you're using the word humble completely wrong. But over the years, they do change, and there's different aspects and different definitions of humble, which, again, humble is in the word pride. It gives one of the characteristics of, humble, dignity, self-gratification. It's all in that one word, which is pride.
Yeah. Because they do kind of go hand in hand, too. Like, you need to be prideful enough to be like, I know what I'm doing, know what I'm talking about, but humble enough for someone to be like, look, just look at it this way real quick. You know what I mean? Like, just take a step back from everything that you're doing and just look at what I'm saying real quick and try to come at the situation a little bit different, you know?
Yeah, instead of having like a corrupt sense of observation or value on the topic.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, well.
Like how you said, like hubris before, like, okay, like.
It's too much pride.
No, I know it. Don't even worry about it, bro. You don't even need to tell me anything. Right. Just hand me that screwdriver over there. I know what I'm doing, and I'm going to keep going, you know?
Yeah, and then when you do that, obviously, like, then there's empires that fell because of that, like not being able to, like, nah, this has been working. This is the way we're going to do it. This is the way we've been doing it. I'm not going to let anybody change my mind. And just having that alone can ruin relationships. It can ruin jobs. It can ruin friendships. It can ruin your life in general, just because you're stuck in your ways. You don't want to change.
Just as you said, we've seen empires fall because of pride.
Pride,
You know what I mean? We have, you know, the Roman Empire, Greek empires, Egyptian. There's so many empires before us that have been just as great, if not greater, than America or the United States, and they've fallen because of that pride. The same thing that we're talking about right now.
Absolutely, yeah. Because who was it? I believe Aristotle said that it's a virtue. Pride is a virtue, used in the right way. And he's a philosopher, so if you're using it the right way, then yes, it could bring you places. But how much is too much pride? Like, when do you know that? All right, well, I know I'm a prideful person. I know this is the right way. Let me be a leader and let me teach this way. To when you actually gotta fall back and listen, and that goes to the definition of what's a great leader and what's a great boss. A boss will just boss people around. A leader will show example and do it by example, to the point where if they need somebody else to do it, they know that they led and they taught enough for that person to take control and could probably teach them something after that.
Exactly. And it comes to the Ice Cube song. When do you check yourself before you wreck yourself?
Right, exactly. Yep, technically. And that's funny because
when do I be like, hey, wait, I don't, maybe he does know a little bit more.
Maybe Ken show me
Let me
something.
just let him in on this one. Boom. You take control of this one. And
but a lot of people's pride won't let them agree with that. Like, even if the person's right and they know that person's right, their pride won't let them admit it. It's like, nah, I don't know what he's talking about. And knowing that person might be 100% right. Like,
and that's when a tool that we use as humans could become a poison to us. You know, like, we become way too prideful and think that, okay, we know everything. No. You can't tell me anything about this. I've been here. I know everything about it. Fall back and just watch me and learn from me. Like, no, relax, dude. Relax.
And it is crazy because a lot of people in society they have pride, but they use it in a negative light. Like, there's several like Kevin Gates did a pride song, Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, Moneybagg Yo. Those are just recent artists, to name a few, that all have pride songs. Like J. Cole's songs, Pride is the Devil. All the rest of their songs literally talking about how pride can get you killed in a lot of ways. Like, pride can get people killed. Pride can break up marriages. Pride can put you in some effed up situations that you can't get out of, that didn't even need to start from the beginning, but yet you was just too prideful to admit when you're wrong.
Absolutely. But also, too much pride could get you killed.
Right.
Too much pride could get you in a lot of trouble. You know,
right? And that's what it basically boils down to.
Not too much. I meant my fault.
Not enough.
Not enough pride could get you killed. Not enough pride can get you in trouble.
And get you walked over a lot of times. Like, if
exactly.
If you don't have enough pride, or
they just see you like you're walking down the street and you're looking down and you're not making eye contact with people, they're like, oh, that's easy victim right there.
Right, which is another definition of pride.
I want from him.
Keeping your head up high, your chest poked out.
Yeah, exactly.
Walking through life. Like, that's a pride. With confidence. Yep. But again, like I said, this is the male review. So a lot of people would automatically think slapping a D on your chest as a man walking through life is okay.
Yeah.
But you have to know what emotion you're dealing with, and if it is pride, and how much pride you're letting out. If you're letting out too much, you're no longer prideful. You're literally, you're boasting. You're being hubris. You're
being hubris.
Right,
yes,
exactly. So it becomes too much. Again, that falls down into some religion where even the Bible, it says it's one of the 7 deadly sins and probably the deadliest, which is being prideful. So it's like, oh, wow. Like, I like being prideful. I like knowing who I am, and I like trying to figure out who I am. And I'm not going to let anybody take that from me. But by doing that, again, can be sinful, can be hurtful, can be narcissistic in a way. It's like, nah, like, the world revolves around me because this is who I am. And I know what I'm talking. Nobody's going to tell me different. Nobody can get an opinion in. There's no debate here. It's like, this is just who I am. Point blank, period.
Absolutely,
which I do feel a lot. I am guilty of it. I know that. But again, if you know what you need to work on, you can fix it.
Yeah, I'm guilty at it at times as well. But then, like, you need to have like that, because you can be guilty of it as long as you go back and correct the situation. Everything will be okay. Because I'm guilty of it, even through like text messages or something. You know what I mean? Like, I'm talking to someone about a specific thing and they tell me something and I'm like, no, look, I know this is what it is. Don't You know, don't try to tell me, dude, or I know you're being wrong. I'm not the wrong one right now. You are. Not me.
Right.
Definitely not. It could never be me because I know
I'm
everything.
always freaking right. You know, right?
You know what I'm saying, dude? Like, I know everything.
But there's also those times. But there's those times when that person might be wrong. So what do? Do you beat him in the head so you get it through his head? Like, listen, like, I know for a fact you're wrong. If you just be prideful yourself, if you be unprideful yourself and listen, you might get ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Or are you being too prideful? Like, you know what? He's going to make his own decisions anyway. Let me not even stress the issue. So again,
and that's why I think with like in arguments, it's good to bring like certain like things that are verified to the situation, because not a lot of things are very like objective and concrete like truths. You know, a lot of things is perspective and your opinion on things, like what you have witnessed and experienced. So unless you're bringing like a lot of real like concrete evidence on why you're right, so anyone could really be right. So then it just comes down to
you got to have proper resources, and you got to reference where you got those resources from to have a good discussion or a debate on a certain topic.
And just be humble enough to like, you know what, maybe this person is right. This is my friend. I'm talking to them for a reason.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Or just listening. Like, again, a lot of people just want to be heard. So even if the person's wrong, let him get it off his chest. Knock your pride down a notch and be honest. You know what? I'm being too prideful right now, but I know I'm right. But still, let him talk. Let me hear his point of view. He might make a point of view that's absolutely right, but instead of me doing that, I'm just trying to get my point of view across.
Mm-hmm. And that's the best way to learn, is to listen.
Absolutely, yep.
Listen and you will learn a whole lot. Just like watching a movie. You ever watch a movie with someone and they're like, oh my God, what's going to happen next? Oh, why did they go in there? Like,
I'm watching the same thing you're watching.
Or just be quiet and watch the movie, and all your questions will be answered. Yeah, you know,
absolutely.
Just relax a little bit.
Like, fall back, chill. You're good. We're watching the same damn thing right now.
We will find out who the killer is.
And then another reason why, like, a whole other topic is in relationships. Like, again, I think personally, mirror review. I think women have more of a problem with it than men. If a woman's wrong, she's not going to admit she's wrong. She can literally go to bed angry at you. She can be angry for days and wait for you to apologize. As a man, sometimes we don't want to apologize. We put our pride on our chest or that D on our chest. Like, I'm a man. I ain't apologizing. I know for a fact she's wrong. Or even if you're wrong, you're still not going to do it. So that one thing that could have been nipped in the butt, where you're right, I'm sorry, my mistake, you're absolutely right. Or what are we even arguing about? It's so stupid, it's so petty, it's not even that serious. But no, instead, we get prideful together and we're just going to clash. Like, even if we're right, at that point, it just becomes we're arguing about stupid nothing.
And a lot of things that we both get from like pop culture and music and stuff, but not more men than women get from pop culture, is like the man is right. You know, the man is supposed to know the things and provide with the plan and all of that. You know what I'm saying? Even in music and everything.
Yeah, but then when we feel that way and we build our pride on that and become numb, because technically pride will do that. It'll make you know everything, not want to be heard, and actually make you numb to other opinions, then we're the bad guy. Because that's how society taught us how to be.
Yeah, that's that social conditioning. Exactly. Society taught us to be that way. So we're just like, oh yeah, no. She's definitely. It couldn't be us.
Right. Not at all. Fuck that shit. When sometimes, you know what? Yeah, she's kind of right, because if I put the shoes on the other foot, that Goose Gander situation, I would not be okay with it. But like, we go through that situation as men, even in bars. Like, back in the day, especially like in the 90s, somebody walked by and stepped on your shoe. Bro, you stepped on my shoe. If that person ain't apologized, you automatically started fighting. Most of it was, again, we talked about this, with peer pressure behind you, or you started that, but now you're too prideful to be on some, it's all right, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to step on your shoe, or, you know, it's okay, you stepped on my shoe, which people now are more acceptable to apologizing when that does happen, or saying, nah, no problem, no big deal. But there's situations like that. Again, when it comes with alcohol or you're around your friends or if there's a girl there, you will let your pride boast up a little more. And then like, nah, I want to hear that
Absolutely.
shit. Then guess what? Then you're fighting. Somebody's going home with a bad night for one. For two, with a broken nose, hand, bloody lip, something like that. Or worse comes to worse, you can literally go to jail or somebody might not even make it home on top of that.
Yeah.
Because simply off of pride. Like, oh, now a simple fight that you thought would be a simple altercation, ended up in being a physical altercation with now somebody running and going to get a gun, shooting up the club because their pride got in the way. And them sitting in behind bars and actually me feeling bad for even that person if you didn't shoot nobody. Because now you wasted your whole life away and you got a charge you're facing in jail. Or if you did shoot somebody, now you're in jail for a murder, attempted murder, assault, for no
something
reason.
That happened
something
in 5
simple.
seconds.
And then simply
So
off
fast.
of pride. Simply off of pride. Which is, again, to me,
which is something to get crazy to get mad about anyway, like in a bar or a club where there's a lot of people anyway. Someone's gonna bump into you.
Right. Somebody's gonna step on your
shoes. Right. You know what I mean? These are things you should go into
knowing,
the situation
like, hey, this might happen.
But again, the alcohol gets involved. All your friends are around. Even if you're not drinking, all your friends are around.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Your pride
this guy just disrespected you. You know what I'm saying? He disrespected you. So now you have to handle it.
And then if your lady friend's there, it's like, oh, I got to be a man. Stay off what a man's supposed to be. I'm going to stick up for myself and my lady around him.
And I've seen the same situation in boxing gyms, like where, all right, it's supposed to be a light spar, but this person brought somebody with them. Or there's extra people watching besides like your trainers and everything. It's supposed to be a light sparring session, but he hits you with something, you know, a nice little combo.
Right.
And then that girl that you brought is watching. So now it's turning into a real fight. You know what I mean? That pride gets in the way a little bit too much sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
Especially when there's outside forces watching, people that can, especially today where everything is instantaneous and it could be recorded really fast.
Yeah.
And commented on really fast.
And that's another fear people have. So their pride kicks in right away. Like, oh, I don't want me on video on the web.
I'm not going to look
disrespected.
Like a bitch,
exactly.
You know?
Yeah. So automatically,
I'm not going to look like no
pride shooting up. So it's like you can't escape it in a way. So in a way, it is a devil. And it can make you do some fucked up shit. But there's also another aspect of pride, which again is the attribute of being proud of something, your skill. Like, is there something wrong with being proud of your skill? Is there something wrong with you being a parent and watching your kid walk across stage and graduating? Like, oh my God, I'm so proud of that person. I'm so proud that my kid was able to graduate. I'm so proud that I was able to, like you said earlier, or lay down a tile and I did this whole basement, or I did that, I fixed that, or I saved enough money to be able to buy this vehicle. And that vehicle is a vehicle that I dreamt about my whole life on my dream board. So that's my pride and joy. It's my car. Is there anything really wrong with that, though?
Exactly. Like you said, like with the skill thing, it could become an issue based on those certain aspects that we covered in the beginning. You know what I mean?
Excuse me.
Like not willing to learn from somebody new and stuff like that. But when it comes like your kid going across the stage and like maybe you didn't do the same thing as the parent, you know, maybe you weren't allowed the same opportunities to walk across the stage and teach your kid, look, get your diploma. Education is very, very important, you know? So to see them walk across the stage, I can only imagine me. I don't have my own children. So you know what I mean? But I have a lot of nieces and nephews. Some of them have graduated, some of them haven't. But I'm extremely proud of those that have, and those that have accomplished certain things in the short time that they've been alive.
Especially like what I know, especially where a lot of my family and a lot of people that I know even came from, like for them to achieve greatness and achieve something different. Yes, I'm going to be absolutely proud. But it is weird even to me when people are like, I'm proud of you. I'm like, of what? Me just doing what I normally do? And is that me being a prideful person or me being like, no, dude, you can do it too. Just freaking, I work every day and I don't even think I'm that far yet in what I want to do. So what are you proud of? Like me working like you? You're just like me, bro. Let's just do something and get ahead.
Yeah. But
But also, like with pride alone, it's like, all right, so imagine, like you were talking about earlier, if you're in the gym and you did so happen to get knocked out and all of that, would it make you train a lot harder because your pride was hurt to get back in that gym another time and do better?
Absolutely. I feel that comes with any failure in life, any failure, whether someone's watching or not. You know what I mean? Like, even when it comes to a job and a deadline, you know what I mean? Like, I was supposed to have it done at this time, but I ran into a lot of things and I couldn't get it done on the deadline. So the next time when I go into another job, I'm going to make sure I have, as the cliche goes, all my ducks in a row. You know what I mean? Make sure everything. I'm going to try to make sure I map it out.
Do it the right way this time.
I'm going to make sure I'm ready for the next job.
But if you're too prideful and you don't open yourself up to opinions and to even see what you did wrong as a human being, then you're never going to fix what you did wrong and keep on doing it all over again.
Exactly.
And then obviously
you're going to look at it like, oh, it was someone else. It wasn't me. No, it wasn't me.
What is that? The definition
of that situation.
Right. That's the definition of crazy. Yeah. If I believe, right, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
Yeah.
So it's
yeah. That was Einstein.
Yeah. So again, like if you're being so prideful where you're not changing your ways or you're not opening yourself up to different point of views, again, that's another way pride can actually hurt you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's like sometimes like, all right, so there's another issue that pride, I think personally can affect a lot of people, which it does. Like say, like RIP to my Uncle Jimmy. There's a lot of other people that I know that deal with this, with alcoholism. A lot of people alone think that no, I'm not an alcoholic. I can deal with it. I don't need AA. I don't need recovery because they're too prideful to admit that they have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So that can kill you as well. So it's another thing where
absolutely, especially something like alcohol that will boost up your pride.
Absolutely,
you know, while you're drinking. No,
right?
You're not alone, brother. I got my little.
I know that's right. Whiskey for the weekend. But
absolutely.
But doing that, it seems like there's more negative when it comes to pride than actual positive. So what can we replace pride with that's not going to be negative, but still give you the satisfaction of self-worth? Because that's what I think a lot of people are prideful for, because they have less self-worth. They have nothing else to look at like, oh, all right, so in a way you're being selfish. Like if I'm not living for myself and I can't do this and be this prideful person, what's the point?
Yeah.
So why not try where they say the opposite of being prideful can be humble or loving or just opening up to different people or listening and characteristics like that.
Yeah, I think like you said, because it could bring a lot of positive aspects like being prideful and stuff. Like because like your skills and all of that. So
well, why is there so much negative stigma on it? I think it's literally strictly because people take it too damn far.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think just like most things, the ego gets involved, you know? Like you get too self-absorbed into things and you feel like you can't learn anymore. Or you can't hear anything else because you already know so much. You know what I mean? Like there becomes like an ignorance or like a cognitive dissonance about certain things.
But in a way, isn't that the definition of pride? Like self-achievement, self-absorbment. And then it can, like I said, turn you into a narcissist because you become too much self-involved and too much self with working on yourself. Again, there's nothing wrong with working on yourself, I don't think. But yet,
absolutely,
working on yourself too much and doing so much can be cancerous. I guess it's like not everything too much for you is still bad for you. Even drinking too much water eventually like, can become bad for you.
Like how they say, the cliche goes, everything in moderation, even moderation. Sometimes you need to indulge. You know what I mean? So even though sometimes you might be like really humble and accepting of other people's opinions, sometimes you need to be like, no, look, relax.
Right.
I got this. I know what the fuck I'm doing. You know? So there's contrast and everything, and there needs to be a balance in all of life, basically.
How many people do you know personally that you think have over pride?
Over pride.
Like too much damn pride.
Ooh. Honestly, a lot in my family. A lot in my family. Absolutely.
Do you think that strains a lot of relationships?
No.
No?
No. Oh no.
I think in my family,
I don't think so.
I think in my family, like I said, like I'm guilty of it. I know I have to work on it, especially the listening aspect, because I do a lot of research. I do try to pride myself in trying to educate myself and knowing more. So when I see one of my family members or somebody else doing something negative and stupid, I try to step in. And when I try to step in, sometimes it can backfire on me. It's like, oh, here comes Mr. Know-It-All all over again. And you think you're better than me. You think you're better than us. Where also, they're also really prideful and stuck in their ways, or they're taking a different avenue and still successful, but doing it in a different way. Excuse me, need that little bit of whiskey for my throat. So it boils down to when I'm talking to them, we're bumping heads regardless, and nobody's getting their point across, and nobody's actually being heard because you're in a group full of all what they call like bosses or prideful people, and nobody just wants to be heard.
Another cliche: too many chiefs, not enough Indians.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely. Like
no one's willing to take orders. Everyone wants to give orders. So nothing gets done when there's too many chiefs. When there's too many foremen on a job, nothing's gonna get done because the foremen don't do work. They distribute work.
Because everybody there got their own fucking pride and nobody wants to hear shit.
Yep.
But also if somebody like I have no problem with it. I have no problem with a bunch of people being in one room and all being bosses. The problem comes from not listening because you never know what that other person can offer you or have to offer you that can, regardless of how much you think you know, give you one under your belt or extra notch.
Absolutely.
And pride fucks that up.
No, it really does.
Like people, like again, let's go back to the relationship aspect of it. People get divorced over pride because nobody ever wants to admit they're wrong. It basically boils down to me, I think, admitting when you're wrong or stepping back and, again, humbling yourself, which, again, we all know I hate that word humble, or letting your ego go or your pride away and being awesome. You know what? Let me step back and approach this in a different way. A lot of people don't want to do that because a lot of people are not self-aware of their pride and how much it's hurting them because those are symptoms of too much pride. Not wanting anybody else to talk and wanting to be listened to all the time, wanting your point across to be heard, trying to come across as a boss all the time, deflecting situations or not admitting when you're wrong alone, or automatically feeling like you're being criticized on everything that you're doing, or if somebody positively gives you a critique on your work, you're taking it negative because he critiqued you on your work. Or your life, or your situation, or anything. So you take it offensive automatically. And again, like when you're going through those type of things, a lot of people don't realize that, oh, wow, I'm more prideful than I actually should be.
Yeah, and like that sounds a lot like constructive criticism, you know? Like I have a little example of that. Like I worked at AMC movie theater in Plainville. I was like 19 years old. And a manager comes up to me. I'm working, I'm doing ushering. I'm like cleaning theaters and stuff like that. And he comes up to me. He's like, hey, doing that's what you want to call it, but whatever. It was $8.25.
That's your pride getting in the way. That's your pride getting in the way. At least you had a job.
No, but anyway, he comes up to me. He's like, oh, somebody threw up all over one of the bathroom stalls and everything. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, I didn't feel necessarily so much that it was like beneath me to clean up, throw up. You know what I mean? I would have done it. But again, minimum wage, $8.25 an hour for some vomit. So what I told him, I'm like, okay, you're the manager. Why don't you lead by example and clean up the stall for the rest of the employees? You know what I mean? He had a little problem with that. You know what I'm saying? So he goes up to one of my other friends. He's like, I'm going to fire your boy, John. You know what I mean? I didn't end up getting fired. He got fired.
In a way, you were being an asshole, but you were right.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So, like, and that's some constructive criticism for him. You know what I mean? Like, why don't you lead by example and be like, you know what, and just take one, or just take me with you and be like, yo, look, we're gonna clean this up.
Together,
we're gonna clean this up real quick. Let's pull up this bucket. Let's get this mop, and then do it in front of me, and be like, so next time this happens, and I call upon you, maybe you can handle this. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just
absolutely, that goes back to literally the bike.
Yeah, instead of just coming up to me and being like, yo, you think you can handle this, because you feel like I'm underneath you. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's what he felt like. I don't know if that's what he felt like. I didn't ask his feelings on the situation or whatever. I was just like, look, man, if you want to be, like you said, lead by example, you want to be a leader and everything, you should clean it up to show us the example. You know, trying to give some constructive criticism in that situation.
Like I said, I ain't cleaning up no throw up. I don't care how much I'm getting paid to do it. Well, I'm lying.
Yeah,
it depends on how much
it really
to do it.
on that.
But minimum wage is just not happening.
Especially then, and what's it?
I'll clean up my best friend's vomit. Like, obviously, people have been down here before in the basement and the hangout. Like, and then people went to the bathroom and missed the toilet a little bit. So I helped clean up the situation because that was my good friend. But cleaning up a completely stranger's shit, am I too good for that? Is my pride getting in the way? Probably. Yeah. Absolutely. Not happening.
Yeah.
But again, it goes down to prideful situations. What are prideful situations? What are just right and wrong? And it comes down to that. It's like there's so much other things that you could have got from cleaning up somebody else's throw up. Like, imagine if that was now. Like, you were 19 then. Imagine now if that was like during COVID.
Oh, man. Yeah.
So now,
like,
they sent you in there for minimum wage to clean up somebody's throw up, and you got
now they probably couldn't even send you in there. You know what I mean? They would have to like shut down. Let's get the CDC in here. We're gonna get everyone vaccinated. I'm gonna quit.
Over some popcorn vomit. Over some popcorn.
Yeah,
vomit.
Seriously. Someone got too drunk into the movies and ended up throwing up. Like, why do you throw up at the movies?
It happens.
How many fucking ices?
So going back into the possession side of it. Like, I know a lot of people be like, oh, well, I worked so hard for this, so I have all of that. Do you think, like, when people boast about having a car, a house, a great job, are they boasting too much about it to the fact where they're letting their pride dignify who they are and not doing what another person would do, or just bragging about what they have? So does that make them prideful?
Again, in a way, everything is circumstantial. You know, I don't know how hard they work for that car. I don't know if their parents just gave them that car. I don't know if they had to clean up, throw up to get that car. You know what I mean?
To get
like,
that car.
It could be anything. So I try not to judge based off of face value. You know what I mean? Off of you just telling me. But if I know you and like know the situation, it's a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, no, I mean, me personally, shit, you can call me prideful as fuck. Because if I worked hard for something, I'm going to show people. I'm going to show out. Like, yes, this is what I have. This is what I got. But would that prevent me from going to a food shelter and helping somebody out? Would that help prevent me from donating?
Not.
And I'm doing it out of the goodness of my heart, not self-gratification neither, because I'm like, I know where I came from. So if you're telling me that my pride is preventing me from what I can get in the world, then I'm sorry. Fuck it, I'm a pride.
And maybe in a way like that, like maybe not so much pride, but like the pride helps you to get there. But then you humble yourself enough to like, all right, I wasn't always in this situation that I'm in where I'm driving, whatever, and I'm living wherever. And there's other people that are less fortunate than me now. So I'm going to go volunteer a little bit of time to help these people out because I was in a similar situation before. So as long as you can look back and be like, and humble yourself enough to know that you weren't always here and you had to work really hard to get there. Or even if you haven't, even if somebody gave it to you and be like, all right, not everyone is as fortunate as me to just be given a car, given a place to stay. So I'm going to go and help these people. You know what I mean? So that's when pride isn't such a bad thing. You know what I'm saying?
And pay it forward. I mean, technically, like, again, like, maybe I should sit back and look at myself and what the true definition of pride is, or what the true definition of humble is, or the true definition of self-gratification or ego or dignity. because I am half of what pride says, but the other half I can see how I am not. But I honestly, personally think pride is a good thing. I honestly think I'm a prideful person because there's a lot of situations and things that I do because I have a lot of pride. Like, for one, like, we got on the back and forth of, is pride a good thing? Is pride a bad thing? What can pride do? Can it hurt you? Can it not hurt you? Pride is the devil, all of that. And maybe I do need to work on a lot of those things because I'm not going to lie, I'm a prideful person. I refuse to ask for help, even when I need help. I'm also a religious person where I figure out, excuse me, forgive my French, God will figure it out, or somebody will figure it out for me. And it just so happens that not asking anybody for anything, I figure out a way to get it. I figure out a way to do it. And it lands in my lap in a way where it's like, wow, and I had to ask nobody for it. And a lot of people, like, they humble themselves down way too much to me because it's like you get a bunch of beggars and leeches after that. It's like every 5 seconds, they're turning around and they're asking for something. And it's like, wow, maybe I have way too much pride to ever do it, but I will never do it. I mean, and again, there's nothing wrong with it, but also I think if you're doing it like nonstop, then it becomes an issue to me. It's like, bro, help yourself. You got to help yourself before you can help anybody else out. But if you're not even trying to help yourself and you're constantly asking for a handout, then maybe you need more pride. Maybe you need to boost up your pride enough to be on some, wow, you don't have that much pride in yourself where you have no dignity at all to constantly ask for something.
And it comes to like an aspect of capitalism versus socialism. You know what I mean? Like, capitalism is like, lace up your boots, get out there, work for something. Get your shit together and fucking earn your living. Where socialism is like, oh wait, you're not doing so well right now. Let me give you a helping hand. You know, in our society, in United States society, as much as everyone likes to complain about America these days and everything, this is the best. This is the best country to fucking live in because you can make your own way, but if you still don't have enough means to make your own way, you have that little bit of assistance. You know what I'm saying? So like, we have welfare programs and everything for people that actually need the help. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time,
but a lot of people use them and take it for granted.
But at the same time, though, like, you need to take advantage of those programs and those situations and make a better situation for yourself. So you're just like, all right, I'm getting food stamps right now. I don't have to worry about paying for food. So let me keep furthering myself in my education or my job so that I can make more money and I don't have to rely on that anymore. You know what I mean?
Right. So you're using it to better yourself. Even if you have it, like boom, I got money in the bank, I got money saved up. It just so happens that something happened where I was able to get it. But when I started getting food stamps or on state, I didn't claim it right away because technically, I have it now, but I still need to get ahead. So I'm using it to get ahead. I'm not manipulating the system. I'm not taking advantage of the system. I'm taking advantage. Maybe if I am taking advantage of the system, I'm taking advantage of it to get ahead.
And you're not going to be on it forever. You know what I mean? You're like, all right, I'm good now. I don't need this anymore. I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to do my own thing.
Right. And that's what I think makes me a prideful person. But there's other people that will take advantage of it till they die, or literally get means that they deny means or not take things that can get them ahead because they're so comfortable on living off of assistance.
And
it's like, why would I want to go to work and do better and do all of this when it's given to me? So now you become a leash. And then in another way, you want to talk about your pride and be on some, I got this, I got this, I got this.
You didn't do a goddamn thing to obtain that.
You can't afford it. Yeah. Exactly. But now you have self-gratification, and that's what brings into the hubris. You're bragging about what you have, and you think you're better than everybody else, and you ain't even work for shit you got. So that's hubris. Like, you think you're better than everybody. Oh, my bills is paid. I got this, I got that. I got food in my refrigerator. But did you work for it?
You didn't. It's all for other people's working, you know.
Right.
And which leads me to another subject, which is like
which makes me think that pride is a good thing, because if they had enough pride, they would not be okay with that.
But that brings me to another thing, like the pride off of that, like nationalistic pride. I was born in the United States, greatest country in the entire world, right? I could say I'm proud to be American, but if I was proud to be an American, that means I've had to have done something to become an American. I was born here. This was like winning the lottery. I'm happy to be an American. I can't be proud to be an American though because I was just born here. I won the lottery. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't do anything to become an American to be proud of being an American.
Right. I'm proud of being an American only for the simple fact that I know people that have served. So I'm proud of them for serving, and I'm repping for them. Hey,
Oh, no
great,
doubt.
you served. But also, again, you're right. Being a minority, I was born here. I had to deal with a lot more things, especially then than now. Is it getting a lot better?
Or even as
Absolutely.
me,
I have to deal with a lot more.
like a white.
So I am proudful as U.S., but I think it could be a lot
But
better.
even as a white person, like I was just born here. I didn't do anything to be born in America. My parents just happened to be here when I was spawned. So this is where I am. So how, you know what I mean? Like I could be happy that I was born here.
Ancestry
I could be
wise,
happy that I was born here.
Right.
And I could be proud of it too,
right?
but it's
I think you could technically still be proud of it. I get
no,
what you're saying, though,
yeah.
absolutely. Because technically, you didn't have to go through the wars, and colonization, or any of that stuff to build what you have now, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, yeah. So you didn't have to go through all of that, and you learn about it in history, and even now you hear a lot of like the historical facts. They did a lot of dumb shit to even have what we have now. But so for me to say I'm proud of it, it's like, yeah, I have pride for my nation, absolutely. But yet, not too much because of the way we got here. Would I want to be anywhere else? Absolutely not. Will I stand up for my country if it came down to it? Yeah. Absolutely. But I get what you're saying.
I'm
I'm
Italian and Irish. I did nothing to become Italian and Irish. I was just born Italian and Irish. You know what I'm saying? So people are like, I'm proud to be Italian. I'm proud to be Irish. It's like,
which is crazy because there's a lot of Americans that wave the Italian flag, the European flag. Like I'm Cape Verdean. Sometimes I wave the Cape Verdean flag, and I have they have obviously pride parades on different type of genders and also nationalities and things like that. They have parades for prideful events like that, like Puerto Rican Day parade, Trinidadian parade, all different type of parades that boil down to being prideful of something. So if it's so negative, why are these parades and stuff happening to be so, I'm
not saying it's negative.
And then on top of that, it's contradicting in a way too. Like you just said, like you're a proud American, but I'm also a proud Italian. Irish
that's what I'm saying. So like
I'm a proud American, but I'm also a proud Black person in Cape Verde.
So I'm not so much proud.
Is that too much pride?
I'm not so much proud that I'm an American. I'm more happy that I'm an American. You know what I mean? I'm happy that I'm American. And I get it. A lot of other people have accomplished things that made this country what it is. You know what I mean? But me personally, I feel like I haven't contributed to that. So how can I be proud to be an American? I'm happy that I'm an American more than I'm proud to be an American.
Nah, I get it.
You know what I mean? So like
Right. No, I get it. And then that boils down to the definition of what you think pride or proud is.
True.
Because of the self-gratification, the self-worth, like, oh my God, like I'm this and that's all I am and nobody can tell me different. And then because you're pride, you can shit on another nationality or you can shit on another culture, or you can shit on another race or another
exactly.
or anybody for that matter, because you're too prideful. Which is a whole nother topic where I feel like there are certain people and things that happen where it's like, but yeah, wait, if this happened in a different type of situation, a scenario, it would be wrong. But yet, no, I'm just being prideful from where I came from and who I am and everything else. Like, it's kind of weird, bro. But, and then let's go back to humorous where people are prideful again. Like you said, it can go back to humorous where people are prideful for something that they didn't accomplish themselves. They're taking the credit for somebody else. So they're bragging about the credit in situations that somebody else worked for, and you just walked into suit and like, oh, what did you guys do? Oh, we did this, and this. What did you personally do? You're taking self-gratification and praise for something that you personally didn't do that you just walked into. And like I said, a lot of politicians do that alone.
Like ridiculous amount. Like it takes me personally back to like school, like group projects. I was never good in group situations. I'm a big time introvert. I like a lot of time alone. So like my self projects, I could thrive on. Group projects, I'm not contributing that much. I'm not, you know what I mean? So like, I could never really take a lot, although I got the credit for it, obviously, because it's a group project, but I didn't contribute a lot to that group project. If it was an individual project, I could take a lot more pride in it because I did a lot more. I know I did a lot more because it was just me. You know what I mean?
And which, again, with that aspect of it, there's nothing wrong with self-pride.
Yeah.
But also catch-22, like you said, like on the back front, I'm pretty sure your parents is proud.
Mm-hmm.
Your teachers might be proud. Oh, they did a group effort. You got an A on this project. I'm so proud of you. I ain't do shit. I probably had to get up and speak about it, or because I'm an introvert, I spoke about it.
I just sat
probably
there
gave him my notes. Right, I probably gave him my notes, but I got an A, and you guys are proud, and I'm taking the work for it. Like, oh, look, I got an A in this today, so I'm taking self gratification on something I didn't do and being prideful.
And then, like
about
you
it.
said, with the politicians and everything, you know, like they'll go in
the office and then like, oh, what did you do in your term? Oh, we did this. That happened last term.
They're taking individual credit for what took a whole administration to build, you know?
Right. Not even a term, a whole administration. Like you said.
Entire administration, a whole 4 years before you became, or 8 years, depends if they had 2 terms, to get into office.
And that one person that actually probably came, and that one person that probably even came up with a good idea,
their name is nowhere in the credits.
But wait, that was my idea. You know what? I'm gonna have a self-pity party at my house. I feel like shit, but do it again next year. He's probably a volunteer somewhere.
Exactly, and then how humble does that person have to be to not be like, "Hey, that was my idea, man. You're fucking taking credit for things that I thought of. That's bullshit." Da, 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 da.
Yeah. It boils down to crazy situations, and again, like I agree with it, but. Again, I am still a prideful person. I don't care what anybody says. And yes, I admitted it. I hate the word humble. So I'm not a humble person. I'm not bowing down to anybody. I'm personally working on letting other people talk because a lot of times they're talking bullshit. And I hate the initial bullshit that comes out. And it's like, you know what? I don't even want to hear it. So I might as well just cut them off now, nip the conversation. So instead of dragging it out for a half hour,
and
I said my piece in 10 minutes.
And I'm on the opposite end because I grew up, like I said, an introvert and everything. I would never really express my views and stuff like that. And that's what I'm working on now is being a little more prideful and be like, no, look, I got something to say. Listen the fuck up real quick. You know what I mean? Like, hold the fuck on. I got something to say now. You know, not just you. You're not going to just keep talking and filling my head full of things that you had. You're going to listen to me real quick. But again,
you're going to have a great point of view.
Can I go too far with that because that's something new to me? You know what I mean? Where someone really has something to say and I'm like, no, shut the fuck up. Everyone has talked enough in life and I haven't talked enough.
So I can't hear you what you're banging on the table.
And now I'm the fucking tyrant that I've always been like, damn, I don't like that person. Now I'm becoming that person because I'm trying to transition into something else, you know?
But there's nothing wrong with it. It's just to moderation. But definitely making great point of views. Watch the banging on the table.
Oh, sorry.
More than
but that's what I'm saying. Like, when do I know that?
But yeah, that's how passionate you are about it.
And like, when do I know that moderation to where like, all right, now you're stepping over the line because I've never been there before. You know what I mean? So like asserting my opinion over someone else's and everything. It's like, when am I being an asshole and when am I just giving constructive criticism? You know?
Absolutely. And that's why we make the perfect like podcast, because I know there's like, for one, if everybody doesn't know, we're good friends, like the greatest of friends. And we always don't see eye to eye or have the same point of view or the same person. Like I'm completely introvert, completely want to be heard, completely like just don't give a fuck. Like I have no filter. If I have to say it, I'm going to say it, unfortunately. So I have to work on pride to the fact where I got to dumb it down. And Johnny, on the other hand, works on his pride where he might have to raise the bar a little bit because, yes, there's certain times where you need to be heard. Do you need to be heard all the time?
No.
Do you need to be boasty all the time? No. Do you not need to be heard all the time? No, because there's also some times where not having enough pride can hurt you. Like you constantly being drilled on something or accepting things in a way can hurt you. Like, 'cause then your self-esteem is going to go down. Your
and then
self-worth
you
and everything else
step
is going to go
into
down.
somewhat of like a doormat. You know, you're just being walked over. People are just rubbing their shoes on you and stepping in the house. You know what I mean? Like, oh no, we don't have time for you because this isn't the real conversation. We're just gonna go over here. The real conversation is, you know, stuff like that.
Right. And then even if when you step inside, like I said, let's say like a room of wolves, like you will know how to handle your situation instead of being that like sheep that's led astray or something like that, for the simple fact that you didn't stick up for yourself. You didn't have enough pride in yourself or enough self-interest or ego to be on some, I know this is wrong, but I'm still going to do it anyway. So that's pride eliminated completely, which can still, again, bring you to the point. And then that's why I think self-awareness of having pride and like just knowing, and what was it, like the assumption of awareness. Like I think you just have to have the assumption of awareness to know whether or not you're having too much pride or not enough pride to be able to either assert yourself or not assert yourself, because it can lead to deadly and bad situations, right or wrong.
Yeah.
Like
Whether
if you're being too much of a follower, you could do some dumb shit that you never even wanted to do, but yet peer pressure
you
lets
would
you
get
do
led
that.
right off a cliff,
And you didn't know you're
right off the fucking
Right.
bridge. We're jumping. Oh, you didn't know?
Because your
You
anger,
didn't know we're jumping. You were following us
Right.
the whole time.
or you're angry. Right. Exactly. You're angry. You're sad. So I'm going to do it this way because I met somebody that's more assertive than me. So I'm going to follow that path.
Like they know
And
what they're talking about.
it's not the right path.
They know what
Right.
they're talking about.
Right. When 90% of the time, he's probably not even right or in the right. So you got to have enough assertion and pride to be on some, hey, bro, you're wrong. Dumb it down a little bit, because right now I think we're both leading down a bad path. We're both going to make a bad decision.
And
So in that way, I can see.
self-awareness as well. You know, like, is this the path that I want to go down? You know what I mean? I think I like my humble path. You know what I mean? Like some people be like, I think I like my humble path. I think I like my prideful path. Is this the way you want to go down? Is this the road you want to go down? Or is this the road that's going to give you more like more opportunities or whatever? You know what I'm saying? Which for me, obviously, being an introvert, being more outspoken will lead to more opportunities eventually.
Yeah, because I'm an assertive being. Like, I like being assertive. I like voicing my opinion. I like telling people just my thoughts. But again, they're just my thoughts. And I learned now how to control my thoughts and my emotions, because there's a difference between the debate and an argument.
Absolutely.
And when a debate becomes an argument, you have to have self-awareness that your pride is getting in the way and back down a little bit or tone it down and become that introvert. Like, you know what, it's not worth it, because in the past, and learn.
And like, especially in debates, like you have to give more facts than you do like examples. You know what I mean? Like, because you can give anecdotal examples all day and people will think you're right, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're right, you know, because those are your own experiences that you're giving examples of. So
right, an opinion is like an asshole. Everybody has one. And you're going off of your lifestyle and what you've been through, so you're constantly learning probably the wrong way to do shit, and you're never going to learn the right way unless you listen, unless you open up, unless you read, unless you do research, unless you hear another person that's completely opposite of you and come together in a dynamic table and realize, like,
and it comes down to like the conclusion of the last podcast we were on, like you have to have sort of a balance. There has to be that equilibrium to where like yin and yang, don't be a bully, but don't take no shit either. You know what I mean?
Right.
Don't let nobody walk over you, but at the same time, don't walk over anybody else, you know? Cliches go back to the sandbox. You know, you treat people how you want to be treated.
Yep.
Boom.
Be treated. And then you also have to know just when to walk away. Like, is it really worth it? And honestly, that's what I think that's what I think pride breaks down to. Is it really worth it? You have to know, you have to have enough self-awareness to ask yourself, is it worth it? Should I let my pride get in the way at this given moment? Should I be prideful, or should I just back off a little bit to live another day, or fight another war, or make a strategic battle out than just running into something stupid.
Or should I listen?
A strategic retreat.
Listen to what this other person has to say real quick, or whatever
Right.
the situation may be.
Because the more everybody knows, like the more you listen, you'll be able to see, like, oh, I might be wrong, and then pride ain't gonna let you admit it. But that's when you need to check your pride. Right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what it is. Sometimes you just need to check
Facts.
your pride. You don't have to get rid of pride, but check your damn pride.
It's all good. Everything is good, and there's good in another topic.
Bad.
Good and evil. Good and
everything.
evil. That's another podcast topic.
And pride is the perfect example of negative and positive, how it can hurt you and how it can get you ahead.
It definitely can benefit you. Definitely can.
Absolutely. That's another episode. Again, your boy Smitty on the weekend. Thanks for timing in.
Johnny Kappa.
Again, if you guys have, sorry about that, absolutely. If you guys have any other advice you want to add, any opinions, any research you did, any situations you guys been into, definitely comment, subscribe to the page, like the page, comment, and we'll bring it up next time. And eventually when we start going live, we want all you guys to chime in, talk about it, join our conversations, and literally just let us know how you feel. Because again, it's two opinions right now. We're just trying to give both opinions in one and personal views on where we came from. I know there's more out there. Let me hear yours.
And sow the seed. You know, you can only harvest what you plant. So sow the seed that you want to harvest. You know.
Absolutely. Chime
Peace.
in. Podcast. Mail review. Holla at your boys. Out.
Message.